Hi creative friends, this is Freya and thank you so much for being here. So today I'm going to be working in this absolutely gorgeous book, Painting the Feminine by Connie Solera, and I decided I'm going to work over the top of this spread over here, and I absolutely love it. First of all, it's got my orange and blue combo, which I absolutely love, and I'm really loving this pink over here, and normally I don't like this particular kind of a pink because it's kind of like a kind of a chalky pink, but I really am digging that over there. I don't know if it's because there are black lines through it or what. And I'm loving these little pieces over here. I love all these like delicious neutrals, and I mean, you know, this lime green. So I am just really loving this spread. And my big problem is going to be that I am not going to want to cover up a lot of it. So that's going to be my challenge, I think. But before I dive right into this spread here, I just want to talk about a couple of other spreads that I did. Now, I did make videos on both this spread and this spread over here. And when I first started on this particular spread, I knew it was going to be a challenge because it's not my visual language in large part. Like, I think I could find a few things that I really loved. Like this over here, I do love. I love this circle over here. I love, you know, these patterns. So I love a lot of, say, this part. I love this woman, but there wasn't a lot else that I loved. And no matter what I did, I still don't like it up to right now, present day. Now, okay, let's move on from this and let's move on to this spread. So with this spread over here, it started off with a very similar path. Like there was nothing on the page that was my visual language. And I did make a video series on this over here and this spread here. But this one here, no matter how much I worked on it, I don't like it. But this spread, it started off where it was just really uncomfortable for me to work on it. But then I managed somehow, I don't quite know what I did. I did include some of my own collage over here, here. I put the background like this luscious, delicious color, which I made some parts of it transparent so you can see Connie's work in the background, but all of this is Connie's, etc., etc. But I really managed to turn it around, and I really do love the way this turned out. And I think that when I worked on this, even though I didn't, you know, I couldn't manage to reconcile those differences, I couldn't manage to create something where I felt like, okay, I like it, you know, I just couldn't do it. But that doesn't matter because I was learning stuff. And even if I didn't know right at that moment what I was learning, I somehow learned a whole bunch of stuff. And now when I went to work on here, all the stuff that I learned over here managed to come out, and I managed to create a piece that I really do love while still keeping a lot of Connie's work, which was my main objective. I wanted to still retain about, I think it was like 40% of her visual language, and I managed to do that. While, you know, it's a very difficult balancing act, because if somebody has a strong visual language, like Connie has an extremely strong visual language, and while some of the stuff I really love, and some of Connie's visual language resonates with me, there are also other aspects of Connie's visual language that do not resonate with me. So now I have to take a visual language that is not my own, and I have to incorporate it into my visual language while still inserting my fingerprint, if you will, my voice. Because, you know, I don't want my voice to get lost, but I also don't want it to like take over the whole thing where I cover up like, you know, 90% of Connie's work when I don't like when I don't resonate with the visual language. So I hope I'm making sense. And when you work in a book like this, it does not have to be this particular book. You are going to learn so much. And like I said, even though I don't particularly resonate with this piece, I learned so much that maybe I can't even articulate. But now when I go to work over here, I am, embodying what I learned over here. So I cannot recommend highly enough working like this. And the main purpose of me working like this is to learn. Like, there's no other reason. I'm not like, there's absolutely no other reason for me to work like in a book like this. So anyways, I'm gonna dive right in, and I'm gonna just see how I can retain a lot of this gorgeous, just delicious, luscious color field over here. And like I said, over here, I am probably going to want to keep too much of Connie's work, but we'll see how it goes. So right away, I am kind of drawn to make a figure here. And I kind of, because I want to keep like so much of this, I'm going to give this figure a cloak. Because if I put a neck here, I'm going to have to cover all of this up, and I don't want to do it. So, an easy way for me to retain all this is just to make a figure that is, she's got like a cloak. And Connie does a lot of these cloaked figures. So see, like over here, she does a lot of those kind of figures. So I'm, kind of replicating that. And it's a good way for me to retain all of this luscious beauty that's on the page. And now I have to figure out what on earth am I going to do with the rest of this, the rest of the page, the pages, I should say, because there is a lot here and I do want to retain. So I think I'm going to turn this into like hair. I don't know here. Now, when you work in a book like this, another thing it forces you to do is it forces you to think outside the box, because like I'm trying to retain stuff. It's not like I have a blank white page where I'm just going in and, kind of like I'm creating from scratch. Now I'm consciously trying to retain all this stuff, so it does give it a little bit of a it gives you, well, it's an advantage, in the long run, but in the short run it seems like it's a disadvantage, but it's really an advantage because it forces me to think outside the box. And I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make another figure here, and I know that it's kind of cramped over here because I've got all this space here, but I want to retain all of this. And I think how I can do it is by making like a figure here. Now, I don't know about this composition. It seems like it's a bit wonky to me right now because I don't know. So I'm gonna make another robed figure here because I want to retain all of this gorgeous lusciousness here. And I think what I'm gonna do is I am going to put like a kind of a sun over here. I don't know if that's gonna work, but, or a moon maybe. Sun or a moon, I don't know. Okay. And I think I'm really happy with this situation. I mean, I'm still like kind of like a bit cautious about all of this white space here, but it's, you know, we're still in the early stages here, so. Okay, and I also thought that I might use some of my handmade collage, but I don't know. I don't know if that might work. Well, we'll see. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna like put some dictionary pages on here just because I want to build up the face. So I think I'm just gonna kind of go like that. I think what I'm gonna do, because I try to repeat things at least 3 times, so I'm gonna put some over here, and now I need to put it somewhere else. And I don't want to mess up any of this gorgeous stuff right now, so I'm gonna have to find another place to put it, and I think I'm just gonna kind of put it on the hair. I don't know. I don't know if I should put it there. Actually, I'm gonna put it over here. And I think I'm going to add some tea bags to the mix here, just because I want to kind of give it a layered look a little bit. And the great thing about the tea bags is it is transparent, so once it dries, I'm gonna be able to see what's behind it, and it still gives it like a texture, and like it really makes a difference. It just gives it like such depth and interest and texture. I am loving so much of this page. I love all these lines that Connie made, and I love all these, just the balance of all the neutrals with these little, you know, this pops of pink here and all this blue and orange. Oh my goodness, I love it. And I think what I'm gonna do is just drip in some of that ink. And I don't know how this is gonna work. I am putting ink down here, but this over here is, I want to retain it, and this is all gonna be abstract because of the colors and everything. So I don't know if I really want to make this like a skin tone, or if I want to just make it like a blue to pick up on the blues here. I don't know, but for right now I'm just I'm okay with laying down the ink. But I'm just like asking myself these questions because I'm thinking about, hey, you know, down the road, do I want to keep it a skin color? I don't know. So I just kind of ask myself the questions and just hope it kind of works itself out at some point. The answer will come to me. And I'm going to drag some of that into the hair here. Okay, you guys, I think I'm going to let this all dry here, and I'm gonna just think about some of the problems, I guess, that I need to solve. Like, you know, what color do I want this face to be? What, you know, what about the hair situation? Like, so I have some kind of questions, problems, and also I don't know if I'm happy with the composition because there's like all this blank space here, which may or may not work. I don't know. I might need to make this larger here. I might need to kind of like make that. Okay, you guys, well, if you've watched all the way to the end, thank you so much. This is going to be part 1, and then I am going to wait for this to dry, and then I'm going to come back to it. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.